Hi, everybody. Welcome and thank you for being with us tonight. It's 7:30 p.m. on the Eastern Seaboard. I'm Paul O'Hanlon. Welcome to this webinar with Rainenhorn Elizabeth Bay / Potts Point. I like saying that. And I'm here to help the guys from the company there facilitate this great conversation. So I'm not sure who appears where in what order on the screen. And we have a guest as well, Jenny Conroy, who's with us. But welcome to Jane Schumann. Welcome to Luke Hogan. Welcome to Sam Schumann. And welcome to our special guest, Jenny Conroy from Coco Republic tonight. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. We've had technical problems over the last 3 or 4 webinars where people can't hear each other, or some people look older than they actually are, right, Luke? Even if they're not. And I know you're expecting an important call, so you may or may not have to exit.
Right, what have you?
And if you do, at least it proves that we're live to air. So thank you everybody for being with us. And maybe, Jane, you should introduce Jenny Conroy, because you guys have worked together for quite some time, and obviously Jenny helps facilitate some really interesting parts of what you do, and I think it's really great to share that with everybody who may be thinking about putting their property on the market or not, but just getting a sense of what it is that Jenny offers and how it can help you maximise your property sale.
Well, we've worked together for a long time, Jenny and I, and outside, I think, look, what's really important whenever we work with anyone, at the beginning of campaigns, our owners are always nervous, and it's fabulous. Jenny always goes in. Our owners adore her as a person. She's very relaxed. She goes with the flow. She advises them as to what they should be doing. And we've had enormous success. We love Coco Republic. And Jenny's very flexible, so it comes down to sometimes somebody has exquisite pieces themselves, and then Jenny adds to all of that in order to do the full picture of what can be achieved within a property. You can't overestimate how people look at things, because mostly our buyers want to see the picture. They don't want to try and always work out how it's going to be. And that's definitely where Jenny stepped in. And as I say, she goes into all sorts of different properties, and it's always a huge success.
Jenny, before you say anything, because that was a huge compliment.
Good intro. Great intro, Jane.
You may or may not agree with it.
I agree completely.
So
That's why we get on.
That's right.
You start by telling us, Coco Republic is one of those brands that everybody knows. It's also a good name, Coco Republic. But so how did it start? What's the name mean? How did it start? And can you talk to us about your range of services that you offer?
Sure. Well, Coco Republic's been around for a long time. People might remember it as Town and Country back in the day, but owned by a family interest. And the original owner, Paul Spon-Smith's son, came into the business and brought on one of his good friends from school. And they basically have rebranded the company into Coco Republic and have reinvented the business and turned it into what is probably the most complete design service that anyone can get in a retail environment. We have a really broad offering in Coco Republic. I work in the short-term property styling rental division, but we also have obviously all our rental stores right throughout Australia. We're now international in New Zealand and in LA. So the brand is really going from strength to strength. We have such unique, beautiful furniture, and it helps us out in the styling situation, because every home we style looks unique. It all looks very Coco Republic, as in beautiful quality, eclectic, lovely furniture. But people tend to look at a lot of the properties on a weekend, and you want them to you want your property to stand out. You don't want it to look like the property they've just walked out of. And we get a lot of feedback from agents saying that that's what we do particularly well, and it's so important that it's a fabulous brand. We can help clients with anything from furnishing their homes fully, doing complete interior design, refurb of their kitchens, bathrooms, the entire property, right down to what I work in, which is the property styling division.
So, Sam, I guess the thing is, sorry to jump in, Jenny, but I know that you've got Archie sitting next to you who's
behaving very well at the moment.
Tell everybody, Archie.
Oh, you want me to show him? Come here.
Well, I'm asking Sam the next question. Sam, how much of an impact?
Oh, we all want a dog.
Look at him. Oh, look, he's just looking like.
Give me a little kiss. There he is.
Sam, when it comes to helping people maximise the potential of their properties, how much of what Jenny does can influence that when it comes to sort of showing it to potential purchasers?
Well, I think that ultimately, I think the success that we've had in some of our campaigns where people have just come in and said, you know what, you've created this fairy tale or at least the dream that we're trying to achieve, and then they purchase all the furniture, just, leave it where it is kind of scenario. That speaks volumes, because, so many people don't have the imagination. They don't know what they would put somewhere and how good it can look. So having people that can come in and create that dream home feel for people, doesn't matter if it's an apartment or a 6-bedroom house, everyone wants that feeling of going, it's mine and it looks beautiful. And having a partnership with a brand like Coco Republic where, everyone kind of goes, oh yes, that's what I want. And it helps sell. It helps us as agents go, this is how it can look, and gets the job done. It makes our job of creating that narrative to the marketplace a lot easier.
It's that age-old saying, Paul, that first impressions last, first impressions best impressions. So when the door swings open and the potential purchaser, walks in,
Absolutely.
It's like how do you show up for a job interview? My background's recruitment, 15 years, and you often make an assessment of someone very, very quickly based on the first 5 or 10 seconds. So say the property, as a vendor presenting your property to the market, people are going to make an assumption very, very quickly as soon as they walk in the front door.
And look, I was going to say that, exactly, and I was going to say because often it's also you're selling a lifestyle. It's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a story. That's right.
So it's a story. People kind of, whether it's a Billiard Avenue property or a Macleay Street property or a Victoria Street, wherever it is, people are sort of navigating to that space, not for just the physical space, but also what that brings. Exactly. And I guess, Jenny, it's also that. It creates a lifestyle. It creates a certain vibe.
Yes, I think,
and also it's more about people. You can actually, if you're selling people a package around what they've bought, even it's like, who are you? Singles, couples, with kids, whatever it is, something that works. Around your lifestyle.
That's right. Well,
Sorry. I was just about to say that one of your greatest strengths, Jenny, is she always individualizes the properties. So it's not, cookie cutter stuff. She goes in, she gets the feel of the property. She listens to what we have to say, the owners have to say as well. So it is highly individualized. She just doesn't go in and say, oh, well, here are 3 beds, 2 baths, whatever. And I think that's really important.
Yes.
It's not like walking into a showroom and saying, oh, well, that sofa might go well there. Yeah. She individualizes every property, which is, I think, amazing.
And also reimagining the floor plan, because
that's right.
Sometimes it's been a 2-bedroom, 2 living room or whatever. And it's like, actually, that could be a bathroom. That could be a living room. That could be a bedroom. That could be a bedroom. And looking at what the potential is.
That's right, because the way we actually live and the way you want to present a property for sale don't always align. I think people are very design savvy now, and there's a lot more TV media coverage on presenting your home beautifully, but people really don't know how to get it right. And some do, but a lot of people don't. And that's where we come in. And, just making sure that every room has a correct function, there's enough living space for the number of bedrooms that you're selling the property with. All those things, we look at all of that balance, and we work really closely with the agents to make sure that we're presenting the property to appeal to the largest possible target market.
Yeah, and Sam, actually, this is putting you on the spot. There's a question from the viewer, which I always love. But maybe whoever could chip in to answer this it'd be great, because the question is it possible to give a value to the percentage that styling a property, what that adds to the actual sale price, or is that quantifiable?
Probably not.
It actually allows you to get the absolute premium. So it's very difficult to say, oh, look, a property's worth $2 million, but if it's styled, it's worth X. What it allows you to do is maximize the outcome in the end. So no, put a dollar function on it, but if something's worth $2 million, easily as an agent working with a stylist and the buyer themselves, you can get that premium. That's what styling helps you do.
An agent once said to me, "You're only fresh once," and I love that expression, because I think a lot of people like to give it a go and see how it goes, and let's save some money and not style the property. It's like saying, let's not market the property. It's all part of the marketing process. And if you're not presenting the property in the best possible light, you are, I truly believe this. I've been doing this for over 20 years now, property styling. I've worked for Coco Republic for 10 years. And as a team, we're extremely experienced, and we've worked together for a long time, our small property styling team. And we get such a kick out of getting great results for our clients. And that's what it's all about. If you don't present your property and maximize the appeal of it by styling it. And I'm not saying we've got to take everything out of the property and start again. As Jane said, it depends. If it's an empty property, obviously we do a full style right down to every accessory and, back around the property, mirrors, art, etc. But if people are living in the property, which is often the case, we can still maximize the appeal of the property. Simple tricks like white linen on beds and removing, a lot of decluttering. We all know about decluttering and depersonalizing and all the rest of it. But getting spaces right, getting furniture the right proportion, getting the flow of the spaces right, getting the function of the rooms right, and giving it that beautiful feel that people walk through. Oh my God, I love it. I want to.
And not forgetting, Jenny, that empty rooms looks. Everyone says empty rooms, they look so much larger. Couldn't be further from down. Yeah. Empty rooms look smaller.
So I've got a question. So here's a question I want to read this because it's a perfect segue. I have a studio apartment. Why would I spend money styling something so small?
Because it'll look bigger.
That's right.
And it'll show people how a studio can function as an absolutely fabulous space.
That's right. Exactly right. People to conceptualize, Paul.
Absolutely.
You walk in and say, oh, you put a bed there. Oh, you can fit a couch there. How many times have we
Absolutely.
that don't have furniture and people say, oh, do you think we can fit a bed in here, or do you think the couch will fit there?
I mean, I can look. Let me speak from my perspective, because I don't want to. Most of us are pretty dumb when it comes to walking into a space and go, what can you do with it? Yeah. It's much better, Jenny, right, to say, to walk in and go, wow, this is the potential.
That's right. Exactly. And it costs nothing to get one of our senior stylists, such as myself and one of my colleagues, to come to your property and do a walkthrough, give some advice, provide a quotation of what it's going to cost.
Right.
That's a free service. So
okay.
It's, and you need to give yourself plenty of time. As I say, we like to get in as early as we can, but we can also do really quick turnarounds. And we like it to be a collaborative approach, especially with the agent and also the client, obviously, if they want to be involved. But I think it's like asking a doctor how to treat an illness. We're the experts in presenting properties, and the agents are the experts in selling.
Well, they all believe they are the experts, though.
Yeah, as you said, Jenny, I'm going to let you go now, but as you said, it's selling the dream, right?
It is.
Also, too, I think, especially with smaller spaces or anywhere, you spend $5,000. If with a studio, you could easily get another 20, another 25, another 30,000. Bigger spaces, you spend, $5,000, $8,000, whatever it is. It's nothing to make another 20, 40, 50,000, and that's how it works.
Yes.
Good styling and good agents. What do you say, Jen?
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's also about time on market. You do want the maximum number of buyers engaging with
Absolutely.
and creating that excitement and that tension of, come on, we've got to make a decision here because we want it. All of that is part of what we're trying to achieve with beautiful styling. Yeah.
Couldn't
Okay,
agree
thank
more.
you very much. I mean, thanks so much, Jenny. It's one of those things that, lots of people love to kind of go into properties that are on the market and have a look and, oh, if only we could this or that or the other. But I don't think people actually understand that when, vendors go to a lot of effort often to sort of make sure that they can sort of showcase what they've got to sell to the broader market. And I think that's obviously what you do to help them do that. And also from the buyer's perspective, it's really good to help them imagine what can be. Even if they don't end up buying the furniture and the fixtures and fittings, around it, at least they can visualize what they can do themselves.
That's right. And that's exactly what we're trying to achieve. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jenny. I'm not going to cut you off but I can hear Archie's stomach is grumbling. So
ready for dinner. Yes. Right. Thank you.
We all
coming on.
Posting your details and Coco Republic's details on the Rannon Elizabeth Bay Potts Point website, so that Potts Point Elizabeth Bay website. And the Instagram, so that anybody that wants to get in touch with you can do so.
Yes, please do.
Obviously, directly, Jenny. They just go to cocorepublic.com.au for the general landing page, and then they can connect with your team.
Yes, that's right. The property styling has its own little section, obviously, on our website, and got a great styling portfolio that they can look through and see what we do.
So we'll send you the invoice.
Thank you.
And thanks so much.
Okay, thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm not going to disconnect. You can disconnect yourself.
Okay, here I go. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And while Jenny does that, let's move on to things a little bit more. Let's call it news and current. And we were talking a bit earlier, everybody, about the fact that for the second consecutive month, the property prices have fallen across the country. So obviously this is a nationally averaged figure, but they've dropped 0.7% in June, and in May I believe it was 0.4%. So I guess that kind of general overall trending is something that, when it comes to reporting and media and stories that pull eyeballs, and I've been there, I've done that. You need to kind of spin a certain story, but I guess the reality is, what's the actuality on the ground? And obviously it's very dependent on where you are, what sector of the market you're talking about. But Jane, could you start by giving us a sense of what the view is where Rannon Horn, Potts Point, Elizabeth Bay are working, and what the properties that you're actually dealing with at the moment? How does it feel when you're actually out there? You're talking to vendors, you're dealing with buyers. What is it like?
Exciting. to be honest, at the moment. We're having such a good time.
Yeah.
We have some fantastic properties.
Yeah.
And I think we've got very committed buyers. Look, I understand. Look, it's a hustle out there in many ways. The lower price ranges, we're fighting a little bit harder. But look, to be honest, there's lots of money. We've got buyers who want to buy. At this point, we have no owners who have to sell. But, I think everyone has to remember COVID has been devastating for everybody over these months. But there are still the owners who just before COVID and now have to do it now, who want to sell. They're changing their lifestyles. They're going somewhere else and whatever. So we're not feeling it really as much as when you read it in whatever articles.
To be truthful with it, if you actually just take it back a step and start looking at the national figure, it's actually nothing too daunting in those figures. 0.7%, 0.4%.
1%, that's right.
During one of the biggest economic downfalls in our generation, to have a housing market that's nearly bumped the trend in terms of national average.
Journalists who were saying, 10, 15, 20%,
Yeah, but it's one of those things. You look at the national average across where our economy's going. We've got unemployment at an all-time high, and you've got banking at an all-time low. So if you start looking at the trends of the economy, the housing market is actually quite buoyant. So the numbers that they use on a national average, it's just nothing to be afraid of.
And I guess that's the thing, isn't it? When they say, it's dropped this, if you actually work out what that percentage is,
exactly,
in the scheme of things,
I think if we were to go down in the coming months 1% per month, in terms of the capital growth on the average apartment and the average house in the Sydney eastern suburbs or the catchments that we work upon, where the old thing was 10% year on year, you can look at the 1% downfall over the coming months, and it will still put you in a better position than the previous years. So you've really just got to drill down on the numbers that are being presented on a whole, and know that us there on the coal front is that as a whole in our sector of the market, we're actually very buoyant.
And I think that's the thing, right, Luke? Because again, as the guys touched on earlier, it's like there are always going to be people that want to sell, despite what's going on.
Yeah,
That's true. I worked with John McGrath for a number of years, and one of his famous sayings, which I always live by, is the market is the market. We're always going to have markets that ebb and flow. But at the end of the day, people are always going to be buying and people are always going to be selling. Yes, we have to work harder. Yes, we have to be a little bit more competitive. But at the end of the day,
those that sell are buying the same market.
Exactly right, Sammy. Yeah.
It's reflective of the market that you're in.
That's right. That's the thing, Jane. So, Jane, I know you've got a fabulous property in Potts Point in St. Neots Avenue, incredible.
Breathtaking.
Oh my God! I mean, it's.
We thought you were the buyer, Paul, for a while.
Yeah, but you give me the deposit. Oh God! I mean, if only. No. So a property like that, Jane, which is, I don't want to talk figures, but it doesn't matter. It feels like it's house-sized proportions. Beautiful, beautiful renovation. The people that are coming to see that, what are they saying to you? Do they talk about, do people try and sort of use the current climate as a way of negotiating, or how does that work actually when you?
I think sometimes. I think in every market you have to educate your buyers. And I think also buyer expectations can be too high. They think for an X amount of dollars you're going to get, 1 to 10. It's not the case. So they need to know very much what's happening around them. And I think St. Neots or any other property that does not sit in a particular spot or that you find no comparables for, they've got to understand why that property is unique. There are lots of properties that we can replace, lots of them. You know, beautiful properties with views, you can replace them.
Yeah.
But some properties are very, very difficult to replace. And I think that is the aspect of something like St. Neot. You can't replace it. No, it doesn't have a view. But where do you find somewhere that's on one level that you just can walk in and out of that's like a house?
Yeah.
You can't.
Especially in that.
So, look, I think most buyers are out there wanting also to know why on any level they should be paying X.
Yeah.
And we don't have bargain hunters. We just have great buyers wanting to commit. They just need sometimes to know why.
And Sam, you were saying obviously there are properties that I know over the last week or since our last webinar that a number of the properties that you were taking care of have sold. But there are others coming through, and there are obviously the off-market places that you've got as well. Can you give us a little bit of a quick? Yeah, just
we sold 2 in the Altair building, which was really nice. One was sub penthouse that we sold. Another one was lower down in the building that we both got great results for. And we sold another apartment, which was a company title building in Point Piper. But funnily enough, you touch on that point, Paul. You know, we've since our last webinar, we've actually got a number of properties that we're looking to take to market in the coming weeks, but we're giving the opportunity to our database, or at least to our buyer base that we like to refer to it as a pre-market opportunity. You know, we're ranging in different areas from Vaucluse back into Potts Point, Elizabeth Bay. You know, we've signed up a number of different really strong, unique properties, one in Darling Point. So these are all pre-market at this stage with all intentions to go to market in the coming weeks. So there's a lot that's going to be happening. We're excited as a company. We've got really good energy, and as we've touched on, you know, energy at the moment, and the hustle is real. You know, we're just hustling, you know, like it's and you have to do it. You've got to be really strong. We've got a pretty good leader in Jano. She's been strong for a number of years, but you know, we've got really good listings and we're ready to sell them.
And we're a great team. We've got a great sense of humour. Gets us through every day. Absolutely every day.
I was going to pick up on the hustling thing that Sam was talking
about. Oh, we love a bit of hustle.
Hustle.
It usually refers to Luke Hogan.
That's a different hustle, Paul.
No, but in all seriousness, so based on the success rate you've had of, you know, like converting listings to sales. So Luke, like with upcoming inquiries, what's that looking like for people that have maybe missed out on one of those properties that's now no longer available? What's it looking like in terms of inquiries? Who are what are the people looking for? Is it, you know, I'm assuming it's quite broad, but is it, you know, entry level or where is it sitting?
It's really a mix of everything, and we're trying to be really proactive in terms of, rather than waiting for us, you know, waiting to send properties live and for them to call us. You know, we've got Liam, we've got Lucas, Sam and I are on the phone actually engaging with buyers who have inquired on previous campaigns, you know, to present them opportunities, as Sam said, pre-market. So to answer your question, you know, we've got stock, you know, from 850, you know, all the way up into, you know, the 10s, 20s, 30 million. So we've got some really exciting stuff coming on.
Right. So I guess that's the thing, right? Because it's an interesting part of the world, because it's everywhere. It's everything from entry-level studio right through to
huge.
Yeah.
And they're all as equally important to us. You know, do not get, you know, this is really important. They're all as important to us, you know, whether it's a studio apartment or whether it's, you know, 20 million. You know, they're all as equally important. Our clients are as equally important. I started here 30 years ago. I started in studios And those clients are as equally loyal to me now in their multi-million dollar properties. So the value of the property is far less important to us than our client.
And testament to the fact, Paul, that, you know, when we are successfully listing a property and engaging a new vendor, you know, Sam, Jane, and myself is who you get. You know, we don't pass it on to a junior. It's always Sam and me and or Jane, whether it's all three of us or certainly at least two of us at every single open, managing the negotiations, you know, assisting to you know, to get the result. So Jane's exactly right. It's irrespective of value, because, you know, value is different to everyone, and everyone's asset is valuable to them, and that's how we.
Absolutely.
But I also think, you know, while of course a vendor is, you know, you are engaged by vendors to maximize the opportunity around their assets, but it's also really important to be mindful of the relationship you have with the purchaser, because at the end of the day, you need to be, you know, nurturing and caring of everybody that's part of the transaction to make it happen.
Buyers become sellers, Paul. It's certainly in our best interest to maintain strong relationships and be transparent throughout the whole process with buyers as well.
The buyer needs to feel safe.
That's right.
And they need to, however many times they've done it, they need to feel safe that we get the far better result by being able to immediately relationship build with the buyer, give them the time, take the time to go and sit in a property for an hour, do all the things that make them feel that, yes, I am making the right decision. And once again, that does not depend on value.
No.
We can sell big properties to people who do business every day, and they still need that same safety net that everybody else does to commit.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. So, I mean, again, in terms of, Sam, in terms of like now that you're geographically speaking in that fabulous position in Macleay Street, 46. Obviously that foot traffic that goes past, because I've sat in your gorgeous front room there and seen everybody go past. And are people feeling like they can just come in? Because that's the point, right? That you're opening your home to everybody else to be able to say, come in, chat.
They can. I think it's softly, given the current climate. You know, like we've spoken to people that have only just come out of their houses, really. So,
well, sorry,
that's okay.
And the whole wall's falling down.
Okay, you're squashing a bug, are you?
No. Okay.
So you know, now we're coming back to a bit of normality. So you know, only on what did yesterday? So yesterday, you know, the reps at realestate.com came around. That's the first day that they were back on the road.
They were allowed.
You know, so people are slowly getting back into things. But the answer to your question is the bar's stocked. You can come in at any time. We can always offer you a champers or a wine, and we're good to go.
License to sell alcohol,
coffee or a water.
We don't sell. It's generally stocked till at least Thursday lunchtime, Paul.
That's because you only work Thursdays and Fridays. That's right. Okay, we'll make a note of that. And so, all right. Well, look, God, it's 8:05. We've gone 5 hours of the time. So, just to sort of summarize, Jane, can you just so here we are, the 1st of July. Oh my God!
New financial year. Let's get going.
And it's winter, but it's also gorgeous weather in Sydney. Like today,
degrees tomorrow.
Point meeting that guy there, or Luke, wherever he is in the window, and it's a perfect time of year to get out, to either to sell, to buy, to list, to start a conversation at least. I think, you know, despite all of the other stuff that's going on, and we've talked about it at length over the last few webinars, life goes on. You know, I catch the bus to my office every day. It's filling up every day. There's more people on the bus. Or the sentiment is much more positive. Everybody's much more uplifted. People just want to get on with it, right?
Yeah, winter is a beautiful time to sell. Seriously, we've had our biggest months over many, many years in winter. You know, the light is beautiful. The weather's fabulous.
Yeah.
You know, the buyers feel good. look, we're excited. We feel that the next few months are going to be fabulous. As I say, look, we keep each other up. We have a fantastic energy in the office.
Yeah.
And that translates to other people. Nobody wants to be down in the dumps listening to the same old, same old. We're very transparent. Some properties are really hard to sell and a lot of the others aren't. That's real estate. There's no science. No real
rhyme or reason.
No right or reason to it. Some do really well, some don't.
Yeah.
Our job is to make sure we're out there every day, maximising the outcome.
And giving you the opportunity to sell.
Sure, I agree with you.
Exactly.
So just before we go, so anybody that's watching, obviously they're watching because probably they're on your database anyway and they've received the invitation link. But the easiest way to connect with you guys is through the website. If they're not geographically,
or by telephone.
I was going to say through the website.
Please pick up the phone and talk to us.
Yeah. Go onto the website. You're all there. You all look gorgeous and younger than you actually are in real life. Find your phone numbers and give you a call.
Please.
Must have chosen a good filter, hey?
Yeah, absolutely, as we always should.
On your end.
All right.
You're a little bit of saliva over the lens, Luke.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for.
Thanks, Paul. Bye, guys. See you in the morning.
We'll all get stuck into it again, and thank you very much. We'll see you in 2 weeks for our next webinar. So until then, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.